受けた。それでこそ私のライバルだ。
The Master Grade Sazabi Ver.Ka, arguably the best Master Grade in my personal opinion. Many agree. I also feel it's probably the most sought after Master Grade. Some of the greatest kit builds I've ever seen, kit bashes included, involved many parts from the Sazabi. This model kit released just 1 year after the Master Grade New Gundam Ver.Ka, which was a smart move by Bandai. The perfect duo, honestly. The best mobile suits from probably the best Gundam movie I've personally ever seen. Oddly enough, it almost seems like my life had come full circle when it comes to gunpla, simply because the first DVD I ever bought was Char's Counterattack. It was the first anime I paid for rather than streaming with my own money when I was a kid, and I remember watching it and thinking what a masterpiece it was. How amazing everything about it was, how it drew you in. And now that I'm older and can watch the animes, I understand the stories even better than I did before. But that has nothing to do with the model kit itself. The overall build and design is simply immaculate. That's the best way to put it. The level of thought that was put into this kit is fantastic. I would almost argue that it's basically a mini perfect grade. Probably because Bandai couldn't afford to make a perfect grade Sazabi. That thing would be over a foot tall, maybe almost 2 feet tall if they did. And the level of plastic and engineering that would have to go in it probably wouldn't justify the price. Well, the price would probably be richer than most people's blood, but I think I'd be more than willing to drop $500 on a perfect grade Sazabi if the option ever became a reality. Everything here, as I stated before, is art. From the shield to all the reveal part gimmicks, this is a builder's dream. And if you're a modder who modifies Gunpla, Sazabi is a no-brainer with the level of hatch mods you can put into this kit. The color separation, pretty good, I'd say. Not great, but pretty good, considering how much of this suit needs different variations of red. There's only so many decals and stickers you can slap onto the kit, honestly. From a painter's perspective, it is a challenge, one worthy of taking, testing yourself, testing your ability to color grade, color matching, etc. Some of the best custom painted Gunpla I've ever seen were Sazabis. In my endeavor to paint this kit, I tried to keep to the original. A little bit. I altered some of the colors that the manual suggested I used, and ended up with about 9 different hues of red. My transition of colors were hard to tell. The best way to see is if you had a HDR phone and then recorded my Sazabi, then looked at the video in HDR, you could see the color toning. But for the naked human eye, it's probably very hard to pick up on, honestly. The shield houses the beam hawk, which I can't seem to get to fit in the hand for the life of me. It doesn't have like that little tab that slips out. It's I throw it in, the beam hawk, and then it just falls out of the hand over time. So for me, I don't ever really use it. I guess it's better off split in 2 rather than keeping it as one gigantic hole. I also didn't show off the beam effect parts on the beam hawk because I kept having issues of Sazabi holding it till I got to the point of where I just gave up. Simply because all the time I'd suck into recording this with all the pan shots and all the other crap, I pissed away an entire day, so I was completely and utterly lethargic at that point. This kit comes in at a whopping 31 runners, 3 stickers, and 1 instruction manual. But when I say stickers, it's just pretty much water slides. That's the only thing you'll bother using. It's such a nice kit, you don't even have to use all the water slides, but for me personally, I love the designs, simply because it gives that sort of hyper mech feel. Have you ever seen an F1 car? For me, seeing F1 cars and MotoGP motorcycles with all the sponsors and stickers on them and stuff like that, I just believe it's so cool that I like having them on my Gunpla. Other people disagree, but not me. The beam shotgun, pretty much the one you saw in the anime, fits perfectly in Sazabi's hand. My one gripe is the long beam rifle, as cool as it is, doesn't really snap in place for me. Maybe the way I built the kit was wrong in the hand area, and my poly cap isn't fully extended inside of the arm. This could be an issue due to the fact that I paint my kits, and sometimes it leads to fitment issues, whereas to a normal snap builder will not run into any of these. It also has a lighting gimmick in the head, which you can see. As always, I suggest buying third-party LEDs for Gunpla kits. They're just better than Bandai's. No flickering, really super bright, and super cheap. You may have noticed that I also took the liberty of modifying my kit a bit further than the standard build. I did use numerous real metal parts to dress up the kit, because why the hell not? The only downside is when you add all these metal parts and etching, it does make the kit substantially heavier. While filming this, I snapped my action base for Sazabi, the back connector. It just broke, and all I could think was like, great. Good thing I had 3 extras. The beam saber's located in the forearms. If you paint these, good luck getting them out, because I sure as hell couldn't. The backpack slash thrusters slash whatever you want to call it with the 2 fuel tankers. Standard fare, they're alright, but with a bit of modification, they can really shine. These things become works of art at that point. I went through the trouble of adding photo etchings because I really wanted the tanks to stand out. A little bit flashy considering how high chrome they are. I figured why not leave them as is rather than painting them some dull color. The downside of this though is the added weight will then make the fuel tanks completely unposable. It's a trade-off. Cool look, added weight, lack of functionality at that point. But without the metal etching parts, you can pose the fuel tankers any way you choose. The back skirt also contains an extra 4 thrusters. I took the liberty of adding extra parts here so that they really popped and drew your eye to it. Unfortunately, due to recording, I wasn't able to show off the ankle thrusters, the calf thrusters, etc. The foot thrusters at the bottom I added. I do apologize for that. When the action base broke, it kind of put the kill on a lot of what I was doing. And believe it or not, I stood around for hours filming this sort of stuff just to cut it down to 10 minutes. So really, maybe I need to streamline this process. The funnels, a new type's most deadly weapon. These are also modified heavily. So you'll see that my funnels don't sit correctly inside of the holder for them. That's because I added extra metal details to the bottom of those as well, just for the hell of it, so it'll look cooler. Unfortunately, this will make it an issue to work with the funnels with their standard connectors. It sucks, but what are you going to do? Either make your Gunpla kit really amazing looking, or not, I don't know. I can only justify it for I really wanted this build to seem beautiful. I wanted it to stand out. By the way, if you're painting with Alcalad metals, metallics, and you're using Alcalad's Aqua Clear, if you then follow it up with a flat coat because you changed your mind, this will lead to all of your decals looking like shit. Heads up from me. The extra beauty of the Sazabi is the fact that there are third-party gimmicks like this. Funnel effects. These things are actually really cool. I didn't get around to figuring out how to paint clear parts to make them look better, but it's something I'll look into later, then I'll come back to these. But as is, they're actually pretty expressive. They make your kit come to life on a whole other level. But the trade-off is Sazabi's already huge, and these funnel effect parts go pretty high up over his body. So for the standard glass case that I have, they're really not feasible, which is sad. But if I had a giant glass case, or if you do, have at it. These things will be great. Also on the plus side, since they're plastic, and maybe later I'll try this, if you put them in boiling water for a little bit, not long, just long enough to heat them up, and then start, manipulating them to make the funnel look like it's going in erratic directions, that could be cool too. But I haven't tried it yet, so don't go out there, do this, mess up your stuff, and then blame me. I'm just saying it's a possibility. It's an idea I'm toying with in my mind. The out-of-the-box kit, even without any paint, is beautiful to behold. It really is. The color separation is also great. You could just build this as is and be fine with it. But I'm one of those guys who likes to paint his kit because I just like painting, honestly. And I like to learn new things when it comes to painting, challenging myself a bit and picking up new skills for the hell of it. Because it's a hobby. May as well enjoy it and grow as a person in the process of doing so. That's my overall goal with most of these. That's the overall goal with this channel. To show people that a painted Gunpla kit is not that hard and it's quite rewarding, though very time consuming. But if it's just a hobby you have and you don't have as many obligations as I do throughout the day, you could probably finish up one of these pretty quickly. But on my end, it took me about 2 months to build this kit. So to give you some perspective, and frankly, I don't regret it one bit. Even the small weathering bits I did to hide paint flaws that I made mistakes with give this suit even more character. It is a rewarding experience. It is a great design. It is a fantastic piece of work, but it is heavy. Articulation is definitely there. The only problem is the kit's so heavy, at least on my end, that posability isn't high up on this kit. You know, like you can pose it, don't expect certain legs to stay up in the air long, especially if you're using metal thrusters in the legs, because then they just weigh down the leg and the leg falls again. You need a pretty big stand for this. The standard action base is not big enough. I'd almost recommend 2 action bases for this, honestly. While also putting in metal thruster parts, be cognizant of how far the metal tubing goes through one of the upper shoulder areas, because if it goes too far in, you can't fully close the Sazabi's armor gimmick, which is why you see most of my stuff completely open all the time, because I can't close it fully. Other than that, I have no complaints with this kit at all. Actually, this is one of the few kits I've built where nothing broke. Even the hands are fantastic. These are the best master grade hands I've worked with. And here's a panning shot of New Gundam Ver.Ka, the next video coming. Unfortunately, as much as I love New Gundam Ver.Ka, it's got so many flaws that it became frustrating messing with it, but that's another story. Oh, I didn't even talk about the pilot figures, but I guess most Gunpla reviewers don't. They're standard fare. The one okay, I do have one possible complaint. The fact that you can't put the clear Psycho Frame cockpit inside of Sazabi's head, that sucks. I mean, you can, but it would take a lot of customizing of the Sazabi head to make it a reality. That kinda sucks. But overall, that's about it, man. Nothing else that I could think of. I would highly recommend this kit to anyone into Gunpla. It would probably be the centerpiece of any master grade collection. I have yet to see a master grade that I've liked more than Sazabi, even New Gundam. And I love New Gundam. But when it comes to the model kits, the master grade Sazabi beats them all for me. It is truly a beautiful work of art in every sense of the word. And if you desire to take your kit to the next level by adding metal parts, I would recommend that too. They're easy to install, except for the belt area. That's a little bit of a pain in the ass. And they add an extra bit of flair. Just a bit more ambiance. Oh wait, there was a part that broke. Okay, so I did break a part on this. I just saw it. Oh, that's that. To hell with it. Oh, the Waterslide Decals. The fact that they didn't have any that came in like there's a S design on Sazabi's front skirt in the anime, but they didn't add it in the Waterslide, which is odd. You'd think that would be something key to have there, but then again, if you care that much, you can always buy Waterslides off of Samuel Decal, who hooked me up with some gold ones recently. Unfortunately, the next Sazabi I'm working on, I assumed the resin kit would come with a customized shield, and it didn't, so I'll have to try and customize my own shield, which really blows. I was hoping I could use the vanilla shield to replace on this Sazabi and put gold decals on, but, you know, whatever. That's life, am I right? And that's going to do it for me. Rate, comment, subscribe, because, unfortunately, I need you to. It gets me higher up in the algorithm BS and all that other rigmarole that YouTube puts you through, especially if you're not one of their top YouTubers. And frankly, I feel Gundam needs a better space on this platform. I think it needs more artists. Not being rude to anybody, but I just feel it's time to take Gunpla on YouTube to the next level.